Thank you, Thomas Potts. I was about to say that before I hit the button. Qapla, everyone. It's Bird of Prey 5. And it is Deep Space Nine Wednesday, and today we're going to watch what I believe is easily my least favorite episode. At least Move Along Home is so bad, it's kind of funny. But Invasive Procedures, the fourth episode of the second season, maybe I'm just misremembering it, but I've watched it several times now, and never once have I enjoyed this episode. It comes right after a great three-part episode, two to be continued and a conclusion. It wasn't all shown at once, but we had three great episodes. Beginning season 2, they were all tied together, and now we get our first kind of filler episode that doesn't really occur during any specific star date. Could have been done at any time. And it's, to me, it's a sleeper. It is a sleeper. But maybe my mind will be changed as, I have changed my minds on lots of shows post Star Trek Discovery. Things that I used to dislike with a passion, I now say they're not that bad. But we'll see. I don't hold up high hopes for Invasive Procedures today. But anyway, Yosef, Patrick, and Life with Matthew were here early. I believe Yosef was first, but unfortunately some of those comments are gone. They were talking about what time I was starting. Welcome, Yosef and Life with Matthew. Yosef says at 11 p.m., so I hope you'll be on soon. Time zone is killing me. I'm sorry, Yosef. So let's see. Who was actually first when I started? Let's see. Life with Matthew says, I see how it is. Anti-Trekker is sneaking in his review right when Bird will be starting. Pretty sneaky. What, did Anti-Trekker post a review? That son of a bitch. Thomas Potts says hi. Welcome, Thomas Potts. I do not know if you or Life with Matthew was technically first. Joseph says, what a jerk move, but we do not kick invalids. What? Sharon Moore says, greetings, Birdo Prey 5, Mamo Prey 5, and fellow nerds. Greetings, Sharon Moore. Mamo Prey 5's actually outside with Sassy. Let me take this out, because I don't sound right when I can't hear myself. Thomas Potts with a $1.99 super chat says, wake up, Birdo Prey. Thank you so much, Thomas, for your super chat. And I realize I never really gave you guys the official answer of what happened last stream, because to you, a phone call came in, and that was the last you heard of me. Now, what happened was I picked up the phone knowing it was nobody. And unfortunately, on the Stream Deck that Anti-Trekker was nice enough to send me, and it's come in handy. So I have to definitely, thank him again for this. But right here in the corner is the microphone off button. So as I moved my arm and just slightly touched the Stream Deck, I shut off the microphone through the software. I had no idea I did this. And I talked for like 10 minutes, and the phone call lasted 10 seconds. I was like, yeah, it's nobody, hung up, and I went back to talking. I was talking about what was going on in Space Engineers, mostly. I didn't know nobody could hear me. Like, I literally ended the stream thinking everybody pretty much heard me. And it was only towards the very end that I started panicking, and I was trying to figure out what went wrong. I was pressing the button on the microphone. Everything was showing it was working. The one thing I didn't check was the software Microsoft Mute, because I didn't think I'd pressed it. So, but that's what happened. I apologize. And yes, I was fine. It was not the FBI on the phone. or anything like that. My bad. And by the time I realized what it was, I'd already ended the stream. Otherwise, I would have told you guys that. Shroudmore says, in greetings to Sassy, chaser of cats, eater of cookies, stalker of cardinals, defiler of cushions, and scourge of the squirrels, indeed. Yosef says, hey, Joe, Mamo Pray 5, Sassy, and the flock. Welcome, Yosef. And Shroudmore says, everybody remember to switch to live chat, which I'm double checking, but yes, I have switched. Yosef says, is the mic on? I hope so, Yosef. In fact, right now, I'm going to turn off the system sounds because I don't want to forget to do that when I watch Deep Space Nine episode in a few minutes. John Street says, it's Bird reenacts Deep Space Nine. Time to grab some Beagle bits and turn off the ringer on the phone. Yosef is just trolling. Mr. Londell's groovy movie says, Qapla, Qapla, Mr. Londell. Mike Richards has chose you over Anti-Trekker's video. Well, I didn't even know. I honestly didn't even check the email, or I didn't get the email. I have not gotten an email about Anti-Trekker putting out a video. Huh. That's interesting. Well, now I'll know I'll have to check that out when this is done. But I did not get the email. Josh Street says, Joseph, the mic is on, but the screen is black. Sure it is. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Oh, great bird of the internet. Greetings, Mike Richards. Sci-Fi Nation says, Bird o' Prey. Oh, that song. Bird o' Prey crashes all the way. If he doesn't, it's a very good day. But he does, so it ain't, and that's why he's Crash o' Prey. I haven't crashed in quite a while. Cinnabon Bunny is there. Hello, Cinnabon. Shroudmore says, Hail Kroger. Indeed, I have been working on the SOB Dean Martin, and oh my God, I have outdone myself, if I do say so myself. The ship isn't even completely done, and it is already by far the most powerful space engineers has ever seen. I'm just guessing, but certainly I'd imagine it's twice as powerful at least as the SOB Sinatra. That's not to say the Sinatra isn't great, but the Martin is going to be a game changer. Now, the only question is, can I get it built before the server, the end of this round, which is going to end on Halloween, October 31st. So I'm hoping to get the Martin into the game. I'll try to start building it tonight and tomorrow, perhaps, and maybe get some fights in this weekend, which means I do want to get the Davis and the Sinatra out there too. But the Martin is gonna clean up. It's gonna clear the server. It will be the last ship standing. Sci-Fi Nation says hi to Cinnabon. Cinnabon says hi to Sci-Fi. Joseph says lolling at Josh Street. Shroudmore says you are coming through 5x5 for me. Thank you, Shroudmore. Joseph says no notification from Anti-Trekker, but you obviously blocked it. I did not block it. I should check that I'm still subscribed. Thomas says, so is Bird o' Prey fault for any lagging? Well, I haven't built the Martin on the Anti-Trekker server. I've only built it on my local game so far. So no, I haven't. It's not my fault for lagging yet. Once the Martin comes in, it's actually doesn't take up a ton of PCU because it's all warp cores, impulse drives, and lasers, not all of which take up a single PCU. So it's it's really not resource intensive in that respect. Sci-Fi Nation says, I haven't been getting notifications from Anti-Tracker either. Well, the Anti-Tracker server, I'm sure I'll get the notification in the next few minutes. But Anti-Tracker's YouTube channel, that is surprising. And Trillmore says, home in Karoga, where Sassy and the alpacas play. Where often is heard an SOB from Bird, and he flips off Turdistan all day. Thank you, Shronmore. And Yosef's DS9 queued up, ready to embark. Very cool. Very cool. And Josh Street just got Anti-Tracker's notification for his stream. Why, his Anti-Tracker's not streaming, is he? He's just uploaded a video. Sci-Fi says the Anti-Tracker website, no notifications for the last few days. Set up for it, but nothing. Interesting. I will double check that, Sci-Fi Nation. Okay, so today's episode is Season 2, Episode 4, Invasive Procedures. And again, if you guys want to watch it live with me, with the audio and the video, you can go to my Discord, which you can get to by going to birdoprey5.com. Click on the link to go to my Discord. And then in the main Discord channel is a link I posted about 30 minutes ago that says today's Deep Space Nine live watch link. You click on that link, and it will take you to a site where you will be watching the exact same video I am watching. If I pause it, it'll pause for you. If I rewind it, it will rewind for you. Not that I try to do either of those things, but we are watching the same video. It's like you are sharing the experience with me. Now, the commentary is going to come through YouTube, not through that site. So the commentary will be a few seconds behind what you're watching, but it is still a lot better than nothing. If you don't wish to do that, you've got your own copy of Deep Space Nine, Invasive Procedures, even better. And if you don't have any copy of Deep Space Nine and you don't want to follow along, then in the bottom corner of the... Ah, shit, we're in the wrong screen. We have to go to the Defiant. There we go. I was in my Bird of Prey. Okay, so we are now in the correct screen. Nobody noticed? Deep Space Nine Wednesday isn't supposed to happen in the Bird of Prey. Okay, so in the bottom right, you'll see screenshots, one every few seconds from the episode, so you can have some idea what's going on, even if you're not following along on a live video. Yes, live Mama Praise again. Remind everybody, live chat. Shronmore reminded us earlier, but yes, Mama Pray wasn't here for that. I'm sure some new people came in anyway. Mike Richards says NASA has received a signal from deep space. The translation consists of 3 words: send more Sinatra. I wouldn't be surprised. Josh says, with Bird, it's better to watch you than reenact DS9. Well, then that's fine. Josh says, Bird, change over to the Defiant. I think you were a little late. Anti-Trigger says, Josh, not a stream. I just released a video. Anti-Trigger, I didn't get notification of your video release. Weird. Sci-Fi Nation says the reenactments are much better. It's like having our own Bird on Broadway. Thomas Bott says Martin and Davis were lovers. Anti-Trigger says just stop by to lick the like later. Take care, Anti-Trigger. Live with Matters Bird of Prey, I noticed. I thought you were changing it up and didn't want to be the guy complaining about change. You don't have to worry. I don't usually change too much. Sci-Fi Nation says later, Anti-Trigger. Josh Street says I haven't got the video notifications either, but the notification YouTube sends me just went live. But the YouTube said you just went live. Mike Richards' Bird of Prey, it's better than nothing. And Josh Street is just saying anti-tracker. Okay, so let's get ready on this one again. So this episode is basically a rogue Trill comes on board Deep Space Nine that just happens to be evacuated for reasons with a very skeleton crew on board, and it just happens to know that there's going to be a doctor, I guess, there. And he comes in and he takes over the station. He holds everybody hostage and he demands that Dr. Bashir put Dax's symbiont into him because he feels that he was really deserving of the Dax symbiont. And of course, once you remove the symbiont from Trill, they die in about a day or two. So it's a death sentence for Jadzia. And as you know, by the end of the episode, everything's just peachy because it is Star Trek after all. So we're not going to have a major a major loss of a character this early in the season. Although, if Jadzia actually died this way, that would have been better than how she dies in season 6. But, spoiler alert. Yeah, this is on my top 5 or bottom 5 episodes of Deep Space Nine, assuming I ever get to that point, this is going to be a bottom 5. This might be the bottom of the 5, to be completely honest. I am hard-pressed to think of an episode I can remember that I enjoyed less than this one. Even Alan Moraine, Move Along Home had, at least some fun points in that it was so bad it was somewhat fun. This, I don't know. I don't know the redeeming quality. Yeah, I know. I spoiled it for you. Okay, so from this point on, use @BirdoPrey5 or Super Chat if you want my attention. And that's about it. So, head on over to that website link that is on my Discord if you're going to watch that way. And give me a second to bring it up here. Okay, we're all good. I see we got one person on that website. So, in 5, yes, Ezri was so dang cute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so starts off with a station log. So Cisco says that DS9 has been evacuated due to a plasma disruption, a spatial disruption, and that they have a skeletal crew on board. Now, just last week, we saw how hard it was to evacuate the entire station. There were hundreds of Bajorans trying to get off because they couldn't evacuate in time. But today, no big deal. We can evacuate the whole station. Second evacuation in 3 weeks. 2 weeks. So O'Brien, Dax, Odo, Cisco, and Odo heard something, and it's Quark, because Quark is on board for reasons. So Quark saying he volunteered to stay to protect the station. And now Odo's saying the only reason Quark chose to stay was because there wasn't room for all of his latinum. And apparently Cisco had ordered Quark to stay in the bar. So Quark says he was just saying goodbye to his brother. Odo says that That's bullshit. It's been 3 hours since Rom's shuttle left. So we know that Chief O'Brien has 2 brothers. Mm-hmm. So Quark was trying to convince Odo that saying goodbye to Rom brought a tear to his eye. It was all this. He was, really upset that Rom left. And you can see Quark put something on the inside of the airlock. Some type of blinking, piece of technology that's obviously going to come into play a little bit later. So Quark had an instrumental part in the takeover of Deep Space Nine. Is he tried? Convicted? No. Do they never find out Quark was involved? That's possible. If so, Quark really gets over on them. But it is hard to imagine that if they know Quark was actually involved in all that's about to happen, where Jadzia has invasive surgery and is minutes, maybe hours, but minutes away from death, and Quark doesn't get any type of jail time, any type of prison time. In fact, he's still buddy with pretty much everyone. That especially Jadzia. Jadzia doesn't have anything against Quark. Jadzia is one of his best friends. One of her best friends is Quark. So, surprising. I forgot Quark. I was wondering why Quark was in this episode. I completely forgot that he was the way the Trill and his mercenaries get into the station. Hello, John DeMarco. Quark redeems himself later. Well, you can redeem yourself, but that doesn't just disappear, erase what you did, that all this was your fault. Yeah, it's a good thing you redeem yourself once you see somebody's going to die. I don't think for a second Quark knew Jadzia was going to be killed, but that's no excuse. So they don't even have... So it's a plasma storm. They don't have any idea how long it's going to last. So we see Bashir's there too. Kira's there. Bashir's enjoying this whole thing. He's saying the view from the promenade is amazing. So Dax is detecting a small vessel on its way at a quarter impulse. They're hailing. And Kira can't get a visual. But you can get an audio. The ship is saying they've been damaged by the storm. And they lost audio. So Sisko's asking about a transporter lock. Kira's saying too much interference. So he says, tractor beam him into the closest docking bay, which of course the tractor beam just happens to work. So, of course, Sisko calls O'Brien because he's got a ship coming in, so O'Brien's got to go release airlock, manual override or something. It's fun. The phone's fun. Okay, so O'Brien helps a woman who comes in, says, is everybody all right? And a Klingon comes running in with a disruptor. And he's got a disruptor up to O'Brien, says Federations are fools. O'Brien says, in case you don't know, the Klingons and the Federation are allies now. And he's like, Puh, Klingon government is governed by fools. Actually, there's two Klingons. Two Klingons, a woman and the Trill. And they pulled off Odo's comm badge. So now they're ordering Odo. They're ordering Odo to go into some type of like containment unit. So they knew Odo was on board. They knew that they'd have to get Odo out of. It's basically like a ghost trap from Ghostbusters. So Odo is locked in there. He can't wiggle his way out, I guess. And they knew that they would get Odo to go in by threat of killing O'Brien. So now they came into the doctor's office. They pull off his comm badge. They're telling Bashir to put this thing into a stasis chamber, but he's like, why? And he's like, do it or I'll destroy it. And Bashir's like, why is that a threat? So O'Brien says they've got Odo in there. And then like, damn it. Maybe you wanted to not lock it or something. So in ops, they're not getting any responses from people. And I said, don't bother. And you see, the Trill is telling them to take their hands away from the controls, and the Klingon is shooting the disruptor in the sky, in the air, just to get people along. Tuvok is in this episode, says Joseph. I guess Tuvok's one of the Klingons? If Tuvok's in this episode, then that's a third case of a regular character guest starring in another series that Anti-Trekker forgot this morning. Not Ryan Johnson says, hello in Qapla, Quark greater than Sinatra. So the Trill guy is clearly in charge, telling people exactly what to do. So, yeah, O'Brien knows that Quark is involved because they overrided the security in the airlocks. He's like, they ran across Quark in the airlock earlier, and Sisko casually asked Dax if she knows the Trill. She doesn't seem to. So one of the Klingons comes over to Quark. The Klingon says, you Ferengi think you're so clever, but you're stupid. So, I guess the Klingon lied to Quark about why he was coming to the station. There was never a deal. Quark thought he was selling the guy some liquid data rods or something. So Sisko asked the Klingon what's his business here, and the Klingon says you'll have to ask my employer. And it's the Trill. And he says, oh, I'm sorry. If you all just cooperate, it'll all be over soon. So now Quark is being brought to ops by the Klingons. So Cisco wants to know what they want. The Trill guy says Dax. He wants Dax. And Cisco's like, she's not going anywhere. He says he doesn't want the girl. Only what's he rightfully his, what should have been his years ago. He wants Dax. And then Dax says, the symbiont. He's come to steal my symbiont. I mean, well. So Bashir says you can't remove it. She'll die. And Cisco's like, he knows it. He's like, I'm sorry. He must be Canadian Trill. He's very apologetic. He's saying he doesn't have a choice. He spent his whole life trying to qualify for the joining. Studied constantly. I agree, Yosef. So he spent his whole life getting ready, and he goes before the board of symbiont directors, and they just said that he wasn't worthy of a symbiont. And Dax says, well, only 1 in 10 are chosen to be joined. Most people can live perfectly normal lives without a symbiont. And they said, so they asked, why Dax? And he says, I worked it out. The Dax symbiont's the best match. And Cisco's like, yeah, bullshit. You did it because of the wormhole. Once you've got it, you're going to head through the wormhole. So Dax is claiming that improper joining can cause permanent psychological damage to both the symbiont and the host, which is a lie. The symbionts can be joined to anybody or anything. Riker got a symbiont in TNG. In fact, I think it was probably in a book, so it's probably not full canon. Or no, I think it comes later in Deep Space Nine that they realize that the Trills have been lying about how many Trills can actually get a symbiont, and that really anybody can get a symbiont, and they just lie about it, that there's this whole procedure to get one, because if everybody knew the truth, then there would be a run on symbionts. Everybody would want a symbiont, and it would be chaos. So Cisco blackmails them, not being racist. It's just the term. Blackmails them into getting something he wants, else he's going to tell all the Trill the truth. Yes, it's coming up in DS9. Thank you, Josh Street. So Dax is going to agree to do it as long as no one else will be harmed. Dax is asking Bashir to do the operation, please. But Bashir looks at, and this is good on Bashir's part, he looks at Cisco, and Cisco gives him the nod that's okay to do it. And that's when Bashir agrees to do it. And then Bashir just says that before he does it, he wants to tend to O'Brien's wounds, because O'Brien tried to fight back, and he got shot in the arm. So Bashir gives Kira something, says apply it every 20 minutes. And Cisco says, do it, doctor. It's no time to be a hero. Is that code? Could be code. Means time to be a hero. So Dax has kind of made peace with all this. The guy's promised nobody's going to get hurt. So apparently the guy has a girlfriend. And she will, of course, be the weak link because of, the patriarchy. Cisco will expertly manipulate her into ending this all. Thomas says, I have a symbiont, meaning me. All previous hosts were female. I don't think that's true. So Bashir was trying to give the guy, basically knock the guy out. And he's like, nope. I don't want to be knocked out. He says, set up some type of suppressor and set up a monitor so he can watch the procedure. In case Bashir runs into any trouble, he can assist Bashir. So he does put the thing on Jadzia's head to put her to sleep. And Jadzia says, don't blame yourself. Did everything you could, but I think Bashir is a little happy. He gets to see just how far down those spots go. It's kind of a booby prize. And he says, forgive him. So Kira asks Cisco, how long can Dax survive without the symbiont? And Cisco says usually dies within hours. But she's young, she's strong. The Klingon comes and kicks O'Brien in the bad shoulder for talking. And they all start to fight. Cisco takes on the Klingon. And Major Kira gets her ass kicked by this random woman. Now, Major Kira, a trained resistance fighter, the first fight she's ever lost, she loses to this random woman who we have no idea what her background is. She just seems to be the girlfriend of this Trill guy. And let me tell you, I don't know. I mean, granted, opposites might attract, but this Trill guy looks like a freaking bookworm nerd of the 24th and a half century, whatever the hell it is. I don't believe he would have some ass-kicking girlfriend. But hey, Major Kira, who can beat up Cardassians. She can beat up full-grown, badass male Cardassians. And she could get through like 6 Cardassians without taking a hit. This one chick bested Kira in a hand-to-hand combat. I think that's the first and last time we'll ever see Kira bested in hand-to-hand combat. Now, Cisco had a pretty good chance that he actually was able to knock out the Klingon, but the woman who beat Kira got to a phaser and put it to Cisco's face. So he had to back down. That's amazing. Okay, so we just saw the actual transfer of the symbiont. And out of Dax and into this weird guy. So Quark is saying, don't you realize they're going to kill us all? Kira is asking if he has any suggestions. So Kira is like, maybe you want to tell us how a four-armed terrorist got by our security grid. Kira says, whatever happens next, you are through here. Because she rightly blames Quark. So the woman asks Kira if she's alright. Kira says she'll live. She said, oh, so this woman grew up on the streets of Kesker 4. She wouldn't have made it out there without him. He was the communications clerk. She used to help him relax. When he was recalled to Trill, he asked her to go with him. So he got her out of a bad situation, and now she's going to kill for him. She owes him his life. There's a lot of planets with bad stuff going on. Tasha Yar's planet, this one. The one where the Orion Syndicate is. So Cisco is starting his manipulation by saying that the guy she knows is going to be gone. He's going to be a blending of him and Dax. And she's saying Varad prepared her for this. She knows he'll change, but in all the important ways he'll be the same. And Cisco's like, no, not really. He's going to be an entirely different person. And she says, doesn't matter what you say. I love him. And she's going to stand by him. And he's here. He says he never doubted. He's alive and awake. I have the wrong date in the video description. Thank you, Yosef. He's not just Varad. He's Varad Dax. And he's looking at Cisco. And we're seeing a Jadzia post-operation. Oh, did I put the wrong year in? So Bashir wants help trying to save Dax. The Klingon isn't going to help. He says, why should he help? She let herself be slaughtered. So Bashir orders the Klingon to take the instrument, and the Klingon respects Bashir for having a little backbone and is actually acting as a nurse. And Klingon nurses, not the best, but I guess they'll do in an emergency. So Julian got Dax awake. Is this the moral thing to do? She's crying now. The symbiont's gone. Half of her personality is gone. He should have left her under. Should have just left her asleep. And a typo in steel. Just proof that at least somebody reads it. Thank you, Yosef. Damn it, Thomas. Bashir is saying he's not going to let Jadzia die. But she feels so empty. And Bashir is thinking, maybe I've got a chance now. Back to a 20-something-year-old woman. So Cisco goes up to him and says, Dax. He's talking to him like they're old friends again. It's like so many memories. 8 lifetimes of memories. He says it's better than he ever imagined. Cisco's saying, the station must seem familiar to you. And he's saying, I know you, Benjamin. He gives him a little pat on the chest. The trip they took, they're laughing like old friends. They're laughing about an old science officer, and the woman who loves him is getting annoyed. Oh, he remembers Cisco's bachelor party. And then he says, oh, the time we discovered the wormhole. And then the guy stops. He says, yeah, one of Jadzia's proudest moments. He says, and now that woman's bleeding to death. She's not technically bleeding to death. So Cisco says, now she's going to die. He says, no, she's not going to die. She'll live on with me. So Cisco says, how are you going to live with this? He says, do you think I'm going to forget it? I'm never going to forget it. But I'm going to do everything I can do to make up for it. He's going to go to the Gamma Quadrant and help people. So Cisco says, I got a better idea. Go back to the infirmary. Give the symbiont back to Jadzia. Cisco saying Jadzia's life can still be saved. And the girlfriend says, don't listen to him. He's trying to confuse. So he's saying that risking putting the symbiont back so soon, it might not survive. He says, would you risk it? And Cisco said, would you? And the girl gets pissed and says, why are you wasting your time with him? And he looks at him and says, because he's my friend. He says, we are still friends, aren't we? And Cisco says, I hope so. Come with me down to the infirmary. And he says, I can't do that. And then Cisco gets pissed and says, you're not the Dax I know. Friendship over. That actually upsets him some. That upsets the guy because he really is friends. Dax really is friends with him regardless of the body he's in. Yosef says, girls feel empty after you go invasive on them. So now the girlfriend is giving O'Brien some type of soup, egg broth to make him feel better. It'll keep his strength up. Why doesn't she offer food to anyone else? I don't know. I mean, just to replicate her. And so Cisco's going for round 2 of the manipulation, saying he even looks different. He talks a little different, too. And the woman saying he's better than he was. And Cisco's like, oh, what about the way he dismissed you before? She's like, he's under a lot of stress. And Cisco's like, well, he was under stress the moment he came on the station. He never turned against you before. So the girl says she recognizes that he's trying to manipulate her. nothing's changed. And Cisco says, you really believe that? He says, then make me believe it. Go in there and talk to him. She says, talk to him about what? Cisco says, talk about anything. Sure, you two have a lot to say to each other. She doesn't want to disturb him right now. Cisco says, look at him. He doesn't understand why she's so reluctant. And she keeps repeating to him, that's enough, pointing the phaser at him. So he says, be careful, I wouldn't want anything to happen to you, but it kind of sounds a little weird. Okay, so Quark rolls like a coin over to the Klingon. The Klingon bends down to pick it up, and Quark jumps on the back of the Klingon, saying, I got him, I got him, I got him. And the Klingon just pushes him into the bulkhead and he falls off. This is pathetic. So the Trill guy orders the girlfriend to take Quark to the infirmary. So Quark is screaming in pain. Two people are looking over Bashir's shoulder. Oh, so Quark, once they stop looking, Quark mouths to him that there's something else going on. So Bashir is like, oh, I better keep checking. So Quark is faking. So the Trill guy says the storm's intensity is decreasing. He'll be able to leave soon. He says he knows Cisco's waiting. So the girlfriend comes and asks how he's feeling. He says, better than ever, and he thanks her. They couldn't do it without her. So he's going to take a runabout. Oh, he's going to take his ship. Oh, she hugs him, and he turns away. He says, just wait for him at the rendezvous point. Then he goes to kiss her, and she pulls back. She knows he's not going to be there. He has no use for her anymore. Cisco is holding back a smile. He knows he's got it. He knows that's what he needed. So Bashir is making up bullshit about what's wrong with Quark's ear, and that in Ferengi the condition could be fatal. So Bashir is asking him to give him a hand. The Klingon again says he's not the nurse. And then the Klingon just pushes it in Quark's ear. Quark is screaming in pain, and Bashir gets a hyperspray ready and then sticks it into the Klingon to knock him out. So they take the Klingon out. Quark feels better already. They're asking how Dax is. They're taking Odo out of his Quark didn't know Odo was in that. So Apparently there's an access code. O'Brien doesn't know the... Bashir doesn't know the access code. So Quark, of course, can pick any lock because of his Ferengi ears, I guess. And he's going to get Odo out. Says it's vulnerable, but if you know its weaknesses. Wants a laser scalpel. Cut a piece of it off. And he puts his fingers in it. And he's got it open. He says it's a gift. So this plasma storm's decreased another 15%. The Trill is now trying to contact the other Klingon. He's not answering. The Trill says the doctor must have overpowered him. And the Klingon's like, that's impossible. So they realize Odo could be free. The girlfriend said you better take a hostage to be safe. Sisko volunteers himself. He says, I don't think you have my best interest at heart like Kira does. So he takes Kira. Kira says, that's fine. If Odo's out, there's no way you're getting off this station. So he says, I guess this is goodbye. And I think Sisko says he'll be seeing him. So Sisko's with the girlfriend. Wanting to know when the rendezvous is going to be. She says, you don't expect to tell me. He says, well, just tell me because you're going to be waiting for him for a long time. Because he's not coming. John Araki with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, John Araki. She knows he lied to him. He's never lied to her before. He knows that he's not coming. She knows he's not coming. He doesn't need her anymore. So Sisko saying he needs her now more than ever. And Sisko says, so she says all Sisko cares about is Jadzia. And he says, and all you care about is Varad. And we can save them both. Says we could take out the symbiont while there's still time. She's like, if you hurt him, I'll kill you. But she just gave over the phaser to Sisko. So she's not going to kill anybody. And he says, I don't doubt it. Well, I doubt it because she just gave up whatever power she had. In fact, if I was Sisko, I would have phasered her right to the forehead right then and there. So, Varad, or whatever the hell his name is, the ship is gone. And then Odo comes out of nowhere, because he's a shapeshifter. He says he released the docking clamps. So, Odo and Kira now take out the Klingon that was with him. And so now he goes to the other docking, the other runabout pad, and Sisko's there. What's going on, Sassy? Oh yeah, UPS is here. No, they're across the street anyway. So that this guy is saying, what's one lifetime compared to 8 lifetimes of experience? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cisco knows that removing it will kill him, but it'll save him temporarily. He's lying. So the guy says, we both know you're not going to stun me. It's bad for the symbiont, Benjamin. And Cisco says, don't call me Benjamin, and stuns him. For some reason, the girlfriend is out and allowed to be walking around free. And now they're back. He feels empty. Cisco says it's over. The symbiont's been put back. Says, so close. I had it. I had it. Now he's all alone. She says, you're not alone. I'm here. But you're going to both be in jail if you're not dead. He can't remember any of it. The knowledge. The confidence. It's all gone. Bashir calls Cisco over, and Dax is awake again. Cisco asks if she's okay. She's fine. She remembers it all. She remembers everything all of his thoughts. It's so sad. It'll always be with her, except we will never talk about it again. You know, I'm not sure the guy dies. I'm not sure the guy dies. This is the end of the episode. If we don't have a conclusive ending as to what happens, it's possible he doesn't die. Maybe if you only have the symbiont for a few hours, it doesn't take long enough that you can, maybe he lives. He just goes to prison. Maybe they both just go to prison and live happily ever after. I don't know. Trill prison, Federation prison, Bajoran prison. I don't know who has authority in these matters. I'm honestly not sure. Thomas Preston, welcome Thomas, is 19 watching with 10 likes and 0 dislikes. Very cool. Very cool. John DeMarco says, I think Vermard hasn't been joined long enough for it to be fatal. Yeah, I'm starting to think that's the case. Mike Richards says, UPS was at my door just 10 minutes ago. Oh, that's interesting. Live with Matthew says, I would have loved to see Cisco say, you're right, I won't stun you, and deck him. You know what? That's exactly what he should have done. Oh, that would have been so much better. Oh, it's a boom right to the face. We know he's pretty good at it. He knocks out Q. That already happened. If you can knock out a Q, you can knock out a Trill. It's just science. John Street says, Mike, you must be a few blocks from Bird. Joseph says, if UPS came right now, it would be strange. Well, it would be like midnight for you, Joseph. Mike Richards says, Josh Street, now I'm worried. Live with Matthew says, do they not mention Virad in the later episode where Dax talks about her former host? The next worst episode in the series. I'm not sure they do. I know they go through this whole, in that episode, there's this whole secret life of a secret host that nobody knew about. And that whole thing comes out. That's another episode I really dislike. I have no problem with Dax. I like Dax the character. I like the concept of trills. But for some reason, the Trill episodes, I never look forward to them. Joseph says 6 hours in the future from Joe's perspective. John DeMarco says no, they don't mention Varad in that episode. Yeah, I don't think they ever mention him again. Live with Matthew says, oh, that's too bad. Well, they probably would have had to pay the guy or the writer had they mentioned him, so. Mike Richards and Cisco knocked Q down, not out. That's true. That's true. Sci-Fi Nation and Bird Prey didn't knock Q out, merely hit him, which surprised. Okay. I understand. There is a difference. But if he could knock you down, he could knock out a Trill. Science. See, it still works. John DeMarco says maybe he wasn't joined long enough for it to count. They do talk like the killer host, Joran. They do talk to the killer host, Joran, yeah. Maybe although Dax says that she remembers everything. I mean, I would guess she probably remembers like I always assume the symbiont gets access to his past memories. So all the memories he had prior to becoming a host would also kind of get copied into the symbiont. So I would assume Dax also has access to all that as well. That's really like another lifetime of memories. However, maybe because they weren't joined all that long, none of that info actually copied over, and she just has access to the memories that he made while having the symbiont inside of him. John, yeah, I just read that. Sci-Fi Nations, as long as it isn't Kurogan science. And Chris M. Collecting says Frank Sinatra is an American hero. There's a statue of him in the White House. Absolutely, Chris M. I couldn't see because of a spot on my glasses, so I just filled in what I assumed you wrote. If I mispronounced a word, I apologize. But it looks like you said American hero, a statue in the White House. So, you know what? This episode, it wasn't as bad as I remember, but it is still just not. I don't know. Why is the station virtually abandoned? I mean, it's evacuated because of a plasma storm. Like, plasma storms don't happen ever, again. I mean, how did they evacuate the station? Did they see it coming a week out? Because when they tried to evacuate the station last week, it took them days to try to evacuate the station. They still didn't have enough. They tried to do it in a day. They didn't have enough ships to evacuate the station. Hundreds of people, or at least scores of people, had to stay on the station, even during an evacuation. Now there's literally 6-7 people on the station. And why would they really let Quark stay on the station? Like, he has that choice. They allow him the choice to stay on the station. That's ridiculous. So many things had to happen for this. And then, how does this guy know that, hey, there's going to be a plasma storm? It just happens to line up with his plans to steal a symbiont. It just happens to be by the wormhole. And it just happens to be a Trill and a doctor on board. I don't know. No, we're not doing another episode, Thomas. Next week. Next week we'll do another episode. Mr. Lundell says Jadzia's personality is an amalgam of all the Dax hosts, but her natural personality is always dominant. Mike Richards is when we watched this first run, we said again. When we watched this first run, we said again. Sci-Fi's Bird of Prey, it's those Cardassian shields, lol. Yeah. Those Cardassian shields can't put up with little plasma storm, I guess. Anyway, guys, that was it. That was the episode. I don't hate Deep Space Nine episodes, but this is definitely, I'd say, in my bottom 5. It doesn't do anything for me. Although to see Kira get her ass kicked, which is completely out of character, I kinda give it a little credit. Although, even in 1993, when this came out new, October 17th, 1993, not 2019, 1993, when this was a new episode, only another woman could kick Kira's ass. Sci-Fi says, great stream as always, Bird. Live long in alpaca, everyone. Live long in alpaca. Sci-Fi Nation. And Josh Reed says, Enterprise now. Do episode 1. Hard pass. We'll do Enterprise one day, assuming I'm still doing YouTube in 3 years when we finish Deep Space Nine, but I'm gonna pass on doing Enterprise right now. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Qapla. And tonight, when it's Wednesday night, so tonight around 8 p.m. Eastern, Anti-Trekker should be on Midnight's Edge After Dark. Remember to check him out, and I'm gonna check the website to see if there's a problem with the, no, this is not air in 1988. Damn it, Thomas. You're confusing me. I'm going to check the website to see if there's a problem with the notifications going out. Damn it, Thomas. Josh uses Bird. By the time you finish DS9, it'll be $29.99. Actually, we've got through season 1. We're 4 episodes into season 2. We're we're talking years, but we're not talking a decade. We're talking a few years to get through it all. And to be honest, they only get better and better. The first 2 seasons are the hardest to get through. You know, maybe come 3rd season, I won't mind doing 2 episodes in a row. Just saying. So, I think things will speed up as the episodes get better. But 235 episodes left. Oh. 52 weeks in a year. 104. 208. Yeah. Okay. So we're at half a decade. Half a decade out. 235. Yeah. Sassy, you're gonna be 7, 8 years old by the time we get there. Sassy's playing with a toy. Tris M says the Krogan ship Martin is hot garbage. Sure, Chris M. You'll wait till you see it, Chris M. Wait till you see it. Good night, Qapla. Take care. Check out Anti-Trekker on Midnight's Edge tonight. And, Qapla? No, Alpaca. Whatever, Alpaca. Good night.